Hello and welcome to the latest edition of 5 Minutes of Management. As always, I'm Frank Kalman with Rick Bell. Remember to check out Workforce Live as we come to Atlanta on May 6th. Rick, how are you doing today?
Good, and guess what? We are darn close to naming our finalists for the Game Changers, for the 2015 Game Changers. This is our fourth year.
How close?
We're really close. We are that close. We are darn close to having our finalists, and so just stay tuned to workforce.com, and we should be putting out information any week.
Awesome, awesome. You know what else is close to happening, Rick? College graduation season. We have
Very
the class
close.
of 2015. In the next month, starting in May, a lot of colleges start commencement season as the 2015 grads go off into the job market. The good news for those grads, it looks like their job prospects are going to be pretty good. According to some figures put out last week by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, companies are planning to hire 9.6% more new graduates this year than last year, and that's according to a survey of 162 U.S. employers. Most employers plan to increase hiring, while 11.8% plan to have hiring remain constant, and 32.2% plan to decrease hires this year for the 2015 graduating class. So, Rick, good news on the graduation front.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not going to be working at the local car wash then.
That's right, that's right. So what else do we have this week?
Well, you know, it's last week was equal pay day, and so it got me thinking about pay transparency, and it is a double-edged sword in my opinion. On one hand, you can sort of avert discrimination when you have pay transparency, when you know what everybody's salary is. But then again, you can also build up a lot of acrimony amongst employees. My personal feeling with pay transparency is it's a good policy, but I think it takes a while to implement, and everybody needs to be on board with it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what you see with pay transparency. And so now what do you have?
Well, we've got some interesting news. Last week also there was a lot of protests surrounding minimum wage increases, and in light of a lot of psychological studies that have said that, you know, people need to earn roughly $70,000 a year, $75,000 a year before, you know, to feel financially secure, to not really have to worry about money, to sort of that threshold for financial happiness. One company out of Seattle, a credit card processing company called Gravity Payments, actually took a really bold step and made the announcement that the minimum wage for all of its employees was going to be $70,000 a year. Notable enough, its CEO actually said that he was going to take his salary, which is currently $1 million annually, and he was going to cut it down to $70,000 a year. So he's going to roll this process out over the next couple years, and this company, Gravity Payments, kudos to them. Kind of a bold step, but something that obviously not every company is going to be able to do.
No, not every company is able to do. But again, like we've talked about in the past, you know, we've seen Aetna bump up its salary to $15 an hour. We saw McDonald's, 3 weeks ago, essentially raise their minimum wage by a dollar an hour. So it's not unprecedented, and I think as we see more companies understand that people just need a fair wage to live, I think we're going to be seeing more companies like Gravity.
Yeah, and I think the big issue with Gravity is less on sort of this notion that everyone deserves a fair wage to live, but more so on this discrepancy between the top earners in a company and the bottom earners. You know, that CEO to you know, lowest worker ratio has been wildly out of proportion, and has only increased in the last 40 years or so. And I think this company's effort to sort of mend that gap is really notable.
Agreed.
So that's all we've got for this edition of 5 Minutes of Management. As always, be sure to check out Workforce Live as we come to the Atlanta area on May 6th. We also have the digital edition of the spring series hitting on demand, workforce.com, June 2nd. And we also have Game Changers.
Game Changers.
So until then, join us next time.